someone comes and tells you that next month you will make €1,000,000. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'll give you a moment to think about it and write down in the comments below the first thing that came to your mind when you heard this phrase. In most cases, it's just one word, a small, but at the same time destructive word. How? How is that possible? At first glance, asking how seems to be a reasonable response, and indeed it makes sense. How can I make €1,000,000 when my salary is €1,000? However, this how is not a question aimed at learning, or clarification, or even acquiring more information. It's a how of doubt and denial. If we try to expand on this how and add more words to it, we will expose our thoughts, or, in other words, how our mind works. How is this possible? I make €1,000 from my job. So, this can't happen. It's impossible for me to make €1,000,000 next month. I won't make €1,000,000 next month. I will make €1,000 because that's what I expect. And, no, I will make. That is my expectation. I gave you an extreme example to introduce the concept of a fixed mindset, and how the expectations we have about literally everything, which we don't realize we have, ultimately determine what we get in life. The how of questioning and not the how of learning, meaning when we want to learn how to do something and we ask for the method, is indicative of a fixed mindset. And at this point, let's say that the purpose of the video is obviously not to judge someone who thinks this way, nor to wag a finger and say, this is how you should think. The purpose of the video is to help you understand how the mind works, as its functioning is fixed, meaning it is programmed and predetermined, based on patterns that have been created among the neurons of the brain and the connections between them. The good news is that this can change, and we will see how shortly. We will not analyze how the brain works here. I have 2 related videos that I will leave in the description. And why is it important to understand how the mind works? Because it is the only thing that can prevent you from achieving your goals. If there's something you wanted to achieve and haven't managed to yet, it's due to one of these 3. Expectations, limiting beliefs, and unresolved trauma. Limiting beliefs and unresolved trauma. Don't feel bad if you find yourself in this position. This is the first bad thing you can do to yourself. If you judge yourself for all of this, the only thing you'll achieve is feeling bad, and not improving the situation at all. Initially, you should be happy because now, you know what's going wrong and you can fix it. If you have a problem and you don't know you have a problem, you can't solve it. The good thing about recognizing this particular problem, namely a fixed mindset, is that you already have the solution. The solution is based solely on you. No one can come and fix the problem for you. Even if someone could do it, if you don't want it, it will never happen. Let's see what fixed mindset means. A fixed mindset is based on the belief that intelligence, skills, and talents are innate and unchangeable. Even the money that someone with a fixed mindset believes they can earn is a finite number. And when I say finite, I mean fixed, which cannot exceed a certain number. People with a fixed mindset are not stupid or foolish. On the contrary, they are usually smart and quick-witted, and they base their decisions on logic. More specifically, people with fixed mindsets believe that their abilities are given and cannot be significantly improved. Let's say you're at a party and everyone is dancing, and you want to dance too. Someone asks you, why aren't you dancing? And you reply, I don't know how to dance, or I can't dance, or I don't have it in me. Obviously, we're talking about a party, not a talent show, and no one asked you to dance on stage. Nor do the others at the party know how to dance, but they do it anyway. The next thing that people with a fixed mindset believe is that failure is a sign of inadequacy and should be avoided. And not only that, but if they happen to fail at something, it gets them down and they fall into depression. They want to give up everything and never try anything again. It's as if the pain of failure wounds them, and they can never handle something like that again. In fact, if there has already been a previous failure in the past, it is even more difficult for these people to start anything new, or even to believe in something different. Skepticism and doubt prevail, and they feel trapped. The next thing is that difficulties and challenges are seen as threats and not as opportunities for learning, and consequently, they give up at the first obstacle. When something doesn't happen easily and quickly, they move on to the next big thing. As a result, they end up being transient in everything, as they never commit to doing something from start to finish. It's just another thing they tried and didn't work out. The next characteristic of a fixed mindset is that effort is meaningless if someone is not already skilled at something, which means they expect to have all the answers beforehand, before starting anything. They watch various guides on how to do something, but they themselves don't take action, they remain only in theory. Finally, people with a fixed mindset have set expectations. Think about your day from morning until night. There are fixed expectations throughout. You expect to wake up at a predetermined time. You expect to drive a specific car as soon as you leave your house. To earn a specific amount each month. This might be slightly above or below your expectation, but not too far from it. When you expect something to happen, you activate the reticular activating system in your mind, and you start to notice what you focus your attention on. Let's say that right now you're looking to buy a blue Nissan car. Suddenly, you start seeing blue Nissans everywhere on the road. The number of these cars hasn't increased, there were always that many. It's just that now you've started to notice them. This mindset leads to a fear of failure, low resilience to difficulties, limited growth, and stagnation. But now let's see how we can change this and cultivate a growth mindset from a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is truly unstoppable. It helps you make the most of yourself and achieve all your goals with ease. In general, a growth mindset helps you continuously evolve in all areas, constantly seek opportunities for learning and self-improvement, and feel good. It boosts your confidence, improves your skills, and makes you have a more positive attitude towards life. People who adopt a growth mindset tend to be more successful both in their professional careers and in their personal development. Let's now see how we cultivate a growth mindset. First, let's return to the question we saw at the beginning of the video. If someone comes to you and says, "Next month you will make €1,000,000, instead of saying, "How?" say, "Why not?" Logic often seems to contradict at the growth mindset, and you may often appear irrational or lose no. The greatest ventures in the world started from delusional ideas and people. At first, it seems unbelievable to implement, but once it is done, everyone accepts it as logical. The internet might have been something irrational 100 years ago, but now it is so logical and commonplace that it is used many times a day by almost all of humanity. What we call logic is nothing more than a sequence of steps and processes. We interpret an event we see in the environment based on the experiences and knowledge we have acquired. We try to associate what we see with the corresponding box that contains the relevant information. However, if you rely on what you know and have learned, you will always see the same things. If you want to see something different, the pattern that activates those specific neurons must change. The next step is to accept the difficulties and obstacles that arise. Instead of letting them overwhelm you and feeling defeated before you even start, see it as part of the process. Solve each problem as it arises, so you don't have to deal with it in the future and end up with a mountain of problems. Adopt the practice of solving it now, the moment it arises, and say, "That's done." Then, get comfortable with failure. It's extremely difficult when it comes with a loss of time and capital, but it's certain that it will definitely come with one or both. Don't see it as lost time or money, but as an investment. Look at what you learned from this failure, and apply those lessons to the next endeavor. The next step is to change your vocabulary, the way you speak. Words carry immense weight. If something happens that enrages you, don't say, "I'm outraged. This made me very angry." Or, "I'm furious." But say, "I'm a little annoyed. The situation displeased me a bit." I am not rich. I am not rich yet. You see how immediately the attitude towards the unpleasant event changes so you can manage it better. Try to catch yourself every time you're about to complain about something, and stop yourself immediately. It's cold, it's hot, what traffic is this? The idea came again, etc. This requires practice since it is based on a strong pattern that the mind has created. But the more you observe it, the easier it will be to catch it every time it happens. Then don't go crazy over the result. Focus on the process, on the journey. If you want to make a lot of money, if you focus every day on the amount of money you don't have yet, this will constantly create disappointment. The path to achieving a goal is more important than the goal itself. Reward yourself for the progress you make and for every step, no matter how small it is. Then listen to the feedback and don't take criticism as an attack. Many times others may see something in you that you are unaware of, especially when you hear it from multiple people. This means that they are right to some extent. Try to see criticism as an opportunity for improvement, and, why not, as an opportunity for gain. Don't let your ego deprive you of opportunities for enrichment. Such opportunities are everywhere around you. Look at who you associate with. The environment is very important in personal development. If the people you talk to daily are complainers, constantly whining, blaming everything, unable to, while you can see many positives in their lives, and they have a fixed mindset, you will soon become a product of your environment. If you have ever been in such an environment for a long period, you will find that after a while, you also start to think and talk like them. Do not fear loneliness. Sometimes it is better than having people around you who hinder your development. Nowadays, with the internet and social media, it is easier to find a community to which you belong. A stranger on the other side of the world can support you more than someone you know. So choose wisely with whom you spend your time. Finally, enhance self-improvement on your own. Passive thinking and the desire for change are not enough. Action is also required. Start reading books from the self-growth genre, self-improvement, self-development. Attend seminars, join a free community with like-minded people, participate in events, do meditation, affirmations. Find ways that help you and make you feel good. If you see self-improvement as a chore, it will have the opposite effect. Don't read a book just because you have to read it. If you don't like reading, don't read. Watch a video, talk to someone who thinks like you on social media. Inside you, you have your own emotional guidance system. It's simple. If you feel good when doing something, you're on the right track. If not, then something needs to change.